the Gambia will continue to stand tall among the walls of nations as a dignified, proud country, making sustainable progress based on self-reliance and always putting our own destiny in the care of Supreme Master, the one and only Almighty Allah. As we celebrate yet another independent anniversary in peace and harmony, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his rich blessing and also urge all citizens to continue jealously and guide and protect the peace and stability of the Gambia. On the eve of this year's independence anniversary, the Economist magazines has ranked the Gambia among the most stable countries in the world, and such a feat must never be taken for granted, but should propel all of us to stand firm in unity to safeguard and preserve it for prosperity, for posterity. With the Almighty Allah on our side, we can always achieve higher heights. Fellow Gambians and friends of the Gambia, my government places a high premium on national security, and this sacred national interest will never be sacrificed on the altar of Satan and ungodly international standards that continue to promote the evil agenda of the world powers that are today playing God to Africa and the third world. Our democracy will build on and sustained by our religious belief and cultural values. And as I declared for a theme during the last July 22nd celebration, we will continue to live according to our religion. Therefore, the conceived and dictatorial pressures by some foreign powers aim at imposing on us their ungodly and decadent cultures like homosexuality and unbridled freedoms, and endangered the peace and welfare of the majority, will never be accepted in this country. This dangerous and irresponsible freedom by these satanic forces would one day lead to brothers marrying their biological sisters, and fathers marrying their own daughters, and mothers marrying their own sons. Such an evil world they are preparing for mankind cannot be accepted by we Allah-worshipping Muslims and Christians the world over, more so Africans, especially Gambians. Fellow Gambians and friends of the Gambia, independence, development, peace, and stability cannot be attained and sustained without a price. Every citizen should be willing to pay with his or her life, sweat, at the least of rapid socio-economic development and peace. At the most, every citizen should be willing to pay with his or her blood and tears to maintain our independence, freedom, security, permanent stability in a country where all Allah-fearing Muslims and Christians can worship our Creator and Master with absolute peace of mind and soul. I call on every Gambian to take greater personal responsibility for the socio-economic development, stability, security, and independence, and in a nutshell, the well-being of our motherland, the Gambia. We should not rely on the state for a disproportionate share of our welfare. Rather, we must endeavor and be bold enough to take full control and responsibility for our own socio-economic advancement, that of our country. It is only in this spirit of living by one sweat and contributing to our country's development that we as a nation, working together with only the Almighty Allah as our master and our religion as our way of life and governance, that will turn this great country into the economic superpower that we yearn for in the shorter period of time than anticipated. My government continues its programs for socio-economic development with religion and our religious value system as the cornerstone of our national physiological emancipation and liberation from the suckling of neocolonialism in all its shape and color. In my government's drive to provide education to all Gambians, religious education will be further buttressed and strengthened from primary, secondary, and to the tertiary education. It is only when religion and faith in Allah only is established in the heart of every Gambian that we can become truly independent and dignified people. We cannot be called dignified and independent when instead of putting our destiny in the might of the Almighty Allah custody, we look upon Satan powers that be, whose only objective for humanity is to glorify all that evil and godly. These so-called world powers of today's world, comprising racist, homosexual, devil and material worshipping pervert, bent on the continuous suckling of African blood and resources to perpetuate decadence, abject poverty, violence, mayhem in Africa, cannot be leased to all Allah worshipping people like us, more so be taken for masters. I am sure that even Iblis or Satan believes that he is less evil than these powers who have set one set of standard for themselves and others for the rest of mankind, especially Africans. Fellow Gambians, I am sure you will agree with me that national pride and independence are meaningless without one's ability to rely on and feed oneself. Therefore, as we celebrate this independent anniversary, let us take this solemn and sacred responsibility to grow what we eat and eat what we grow. For a country to be highly developed, secure, peaceful, stable, and independent, it must be a very healthy country. We cannot assure a healthy Gambia as long as we do not grow what we eat and eat what we grow. In fact, eating what we do not grow, which means eating what we don't know, is detrimental to the attainment of a healthy nation and by extension, a wealthy nation. Eating what we do not grow or know is